All right, Tyler. You're sweating already.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
Am I sweating?
You're glistening a little.
You're sweating.
Yes, it is dripping.
How nervous are you? Don't look at my notes.
Oh, sorry, I was just stretching real quick. Never done anything like this before, so I can say that it's gonna be fun.
So you were over at my house. Scoot in first, so people can hear you. Scoot in, talking on the mic.
Is that all right now?
Yeah, but for some reason I'm always louder than people. I don't know why.
Well, you do have a lot of girth in your voice.
Girth. Thank you. So
You're welcome.
the first day I got this mic, or like before I got it, I was like, "Hey, you want to do a podcast sometime?" And you were like, "Yeah." Funny thing is, my friend asked me the same thing on the same day.
Mhm.
Like you said, your friend. That's it. So did you ever do one with him?
So what happening with him? His name's Mike. He does a sports podcast.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say the name. I don't want to advertise. I'm
Oh.
not getting any of the money from that. So Mike, the sports podcaster, said, "Hey man, I know you're really interested in some sports. Would you like to be on my podcast sometime?" And I was like, "Sure, that'd be cool." I mean, I like football. I'm a football guy, so I told him that. I don't keep up as much with a lot of other sports. So he said maybe you could be on when the NFL draft happens, and that was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, so he didn't invite you?
He did not invite me.
Did not re-invite you in? All right. Well, that's kind of awkward. So Mike, I would shout you out, but you didn't
Yeah.
invite my friend Tyler, so I'm not gonna shout you out. Anyway, we got some things to talk about today. First of all, one that you brought to my attention: Gander Mountain sales.
Yep.
So so what's going on with that? Cause why are they on sale? What's everything on sale for?
Gander Mountain is going out of business.
See, you told me that, and I was actually like, I didn't know that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I heard it from a friend. I didn't know if it was trustworthy, but I was actually going to drive by Gander Mountain 10 minutes after they told me about it. So I figured, why not stop by? And Gander Mountains typically have pretty large parking lots, and
Mhm.
it was completely full, front to
Oh.
back. I ended up finding a parking spot, went inside, and the lines were crazy. The sales really weren't that good.
20%.
Yeah, 20% max. Most things were at like 10%.
I hopefully as they get closer and closer to foreclosure, everything will get cheaper.
That's what I was thinking. I'm looking for a cooler for another thing, so hoping to find one of those pretty cheap.
Maybe we'll cop some guns from Gander Mountain.
Yeah.
Wasn't that kind of the problem? I read an article and it said that the Gander Mountain's downfall was it tried to become one of the biggest gun suppliers. So people were like, we don't need you for that. You're not a gun store. Because like kind of gun culture, people like to buy locally,
Exactly. Yeah.
not from big box stores. Because we go to Florida Gun and Pawn and
Okay.
they have great deals. We buy most of our guns from there. And yeah, probably like the last 3 or 4 we bought from Florida Gun and Pawn. And the other one that we got from that, my 35 Ram, we got from Eustis, or no, not Eustis, Montdora. Montdora has a pretty good gun club. My Benelli, I don't remember where my Benelli came from, but it was either Florida Gun and Pawn or it was from Montdora. But we people don't we don't like going to Gander Mountain to buy guns because
Yeah, exactly.
the salesmen there just aren't as knowledgeable and they're just not as friendly. And when you go to buy a gun, you're like, hey man, how's this trigger? Cause you want someone that's shot it before. You want to know how it feels to shoot, and just I don't know.
Yeah, and Gander Mountain really just couldn't compete. They're more of a just outdoors store in general, not so much a gun store. They can't compete with Dick's and Bass Pro and other ones like that.
Cabela's is huge up north. You ever heard of Cabela's?
I have not.
Yeah, so Tim actually calls Gander Mountain Cabela's on accident.
Really?
Yeah, just because of how like popular it is up north. They have Cabela's and then they have Fleet Farm. So
I have heard of Fleet Farm.
You have heard of Fleet Farm? No, Minnesota just rips off every store in Florida and they make them worse instead of better. So like you walk into Fleet Farm and it's awesome that like the selection of items they have, just kind of depressing, like bad lighting. Lighting's really important.
I understand.
And like
Kind of like Winn-Dixie.
Yeah, exactly. You walk into Winn-Dixie, you're like, it's just a Publix, but just dirtier, and the lighting's worse, and it makes me kind of feel sad to walk in here.
The people look sad.
Yes, exactly. But Publix is all bright.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in Minnesota with Cabela's. I'm not gonna roast Cabela's. They actually have bright lights, okay? But you walk into like a Walmart that their lights are broken or like it's just dark. You're like, it's kind of sad. Like, get some better lights. Make people in your store not hate their life. They also have a Lowe's ripoff, and it's just worse.
Really?
And, yeah, it's just a bad colored logo. I'm just like, I don't know, man. I just like to roast the North as much as possible. I really do not like it.
I can respect that.
Although, snow is sometimes, but after the first 3 days, it all melts, and then you're walking around in mud,
And it's just
and it's cold mud, and you're like, no one wants, like, everyone from Florida is like, oh, I want to live up north with some snow.
They don't know the struggle.
They do not. Like, North Carolina, sure. Tennessee, sure. Maybe even Pennsylvania.
It's pushing it.
Maybe even Pennsylvania. Maybe,
Anything
sure.
above that, that's...
Anything above that is the
no-go.
worst. Especially in the city that snows. It's like, ugh.
Yeah. Yep.
And then cars drive by and you're getting little cold ice spikes getting thrown at your boots. You're like, stop. Why am I even here? I want to go home. Anyway, Tim moving from Minnesota. I was born in Minnesota. Him moving from Minnesota to Florida, best decision he ever made. Even though when he lived up north, he was like, he told himself he would never live in Florida. He said, I will never, ever live in Florida. Ever.
He also thought that there were no lakes in Florida, right?
Yeah, so my dad thought, I'm so happy you remember that. My dad thought that there were no lakes in Florida because they call Minnesota the land. Like, Minnesota has some lakes. If you want to talk about lakes, Minnesota is a big marsh.
Shout out Land O'Lakes Butter. They're from Minnesota.
Exactly. So even the butter they churn, they name it Land of Lakes. But he's like, oh yeah, Florida's not going to have any lakes. And to us, that sounds foolish. But in Minnesota, since they have so many lakes, they're like, it just doesn't compare. So he gave his boat to his brother. He's like, keep this boat. And he got down here and he's like, dang it. What the heck am I doing? And yeah, but Minnesota, the one thing he does miss about Minnesota is the hunting. You cannot beat the hunting up north. The hunting, like the
It's
deer.
probably because there's quite a bit of nothing up there.
A bunch of corn and a bunch of nothing. So the deer just get big and fat, and then they have nowhere to hide. Just open plain fields. Although you'd be surprised what a deer can hide in. But other than that, it's just open plain fields. While we're on this topic, Turleez, I have a question for you.
All right.
Would you ever own a firearm?
Yes, I would. At this point, I would not at all call myself a gunman, but I definitely do see the great benefits of owning one in my future house. I do not know if I would ever get concealed carry
CCW.
permit. Yeah. I just right now I don't see myself feeling the need to have that, but I would definitely own them in my house.
The older I get, the more like I am so pro Second Amendment right now, and I hate that our generation, like we live in America, and the Bill of Rights grants us all these rights. It doesn't grant us; it confirms all these rights. You're born with these rights, and people are just wasting their rights, and they don't go out and buy guns. They don't exercise free speech, and they're fine with things like the NSA. And I could talk about this all day long with Connor because he actually gets mad about this. But you're not too political.
Not at all. I tend to shy away from political subjects typically.
But I don't know why, but I'm really into politics. I'm like you're not into politics. Luke's not into politics. Tune's really not into politics. None of my friends are into politics. But for some reason, I am. I don't know why.
Why do you have no idea?
Well, I love the thought of America, to be honest. I love the thought of our founding fathers saying, you know what? Our nation is just a bunch of fishermen, and we have like 6 guns, and we don't have an army, but we're gonna say, you know what, British? Piss off. We're done with you. You're King George III, you suck. That's what they said. They said, you suck. You know, we're gonna do our own thing. We don't rock with you anymore. I just love that. I'm like, dang, they had some balls. And they won just because England was dumb. And, like, people, you know what makes me so mad?
What makes you mad?
People say, America's falling behind in education, and we're behind in this, and we're behind in that, and Europe is so much better, and we should aim to be like Europe. No, we should not aim to be like Europe. Europe sucks. Europe's the worst. They don't have free speech granted you by the Bill of Rights. Sure, you can walk down the streets and not get shot. I don't care. That's not as good as being free.
That is correct.
People are like, oh, Europeans are like, oh, like British people. I went to England, beautiful country, but I mean, to be honest, Like, I don't know. It's pretty. I loved it. You know, the history's so rich. But Europe, England. If you come to America, you come to see the new things, the innovation. You go to Europe, you're like, those are some pretty cool castles, but you guys didn't build those, so okay, whatever. I just sound like an ignorant American right now, but we don't need to be like Europe. Okay, we don't have it like Europeans. Oh, sorry, this is what I'm gonna say. British people, when we were talking to our taxi driver, he's like, it just seems like you Americans are just really obsessed with your guns. Like you're so obsessed. I can't do a British accent.
It's fair enough.
You're so obsessed with your guns, and I didn't think about this at the time because I was younger and I was dumb, and I'm like, there's like a pit in my chest that knew he was wrong, and then I realized that we're not obsessed with our guns. We're obsessed with self-determination. We're obsessed with our freedom. What were you gonna say?
I was just shouting freedom in my
Freedom.
head.
We are obsessed with freedom, America. I love America so much. It's just like I would rather live in a more dangerous place, but I have the right to defend myself than the government orders me around and tells me what to do. Actually, I hate Trump. I think he's the worst. I hate him with all my heart. But he just appointed a new war secretary who believes that citizens should have the same weapons the military has. And I love that guy. I love that man. I'm like, yes, you're 100% correct. I don't know. When it comes to gun control, I think everyone should own a gun. I feel like when you are like hospitals should just have a rack of 10/22s, semi-automatic 22 rifle, and they should just like all down a hallway. And so when your baby is born, you pay $400, and then your baby gets this Ruger 10/22, and because it's just a solid semi-automatic, you know, entry level 10/22.
I was totally agreeing with you until you said that.
Okay,
I think that might be a little far.
No, I think it's actually super reasonable. I think as soon as you come out the womb, we let you start playing with bullets. You know, like not loaded, just bullets by themselves. So you get that feel for brass, you get that feel for lead, and then by the time you're 3, you start shooting. Like I shot my first shotgun when I was 6. Shot a 12 gauge shotgun. My uncle goes, Jackson, you want the 12 gauge? You want the 20 gauge? And I was like, 20 is a bigger number, so I'll take 12. He's like, okay. And then so he put a shingle out, and then he was like holding me. He's like, okay, we're gonna shoot it now. But then my parent sorry, I'm ranting here.
No, keep going.
My parents taught me gun safety from a very young age. Like my dad he didn't like what people say. This is okay and it works. They tell kids like if you ever see a gun, run away. Go get a parent. Don't touch it or whatever. But I don't think we should just only be telling kids not to touch it. I think you should have your kid hold a firearm, understand muzzle control, know how to use the action if it's a semi-auto a semi-auto handgun's really common. So know how to use the action, know how to clear it. Like when I was super young, my dad taught me this stuff. You know how to clear the handgun, you know how to hold it, always treat it like it's loaded, never play around with this. This could kill me, you know? So my dad was always really responsible with that. But my uncle, he put the 12 gauge in my hand and he was like, okay, Jackson, now if you aim this at me and you shoot me, I go, in my really high-pitched voice, it'll put holes in you like SpongeBob. And I don't know, I just love that video. It's pretty funny. So I'm like, it'll put holes in you like SpongeBob. Anyway, we should just teach kids not to be afraid of guns.
Exactly, because if you educate them while they're young, you wouldn't have as many accidents happen.
100%. Because there's mystery shrouded behind a firearm. Like, what is this thing? I've never got to touch one before.
Exactly.
I need to hold it.
I think this goes a little deeper than just guns, but people think that if you avoid a problem, then it's just going to go away.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell kids never to touch a gun and no accidents will happen, but that's not true at all.
100%. And there's so many, gun control myths that are spouted out every day. And the thing that makes me the angriest about people like Shannon Watts, and there's moms demand action, we're moms, woo, and every town is they put out these statistics and they show we have 2.53 deaths per every 100,000 residents from a firearm. Which, yeah, if you ask me, it's not that much. I'd rather not be beholden to the government and have that death rate than 0.046. But they always put out these statistics, and they're like 13,000 people a year die from guns, and then I go, okay, well, let's look at that statistic, and then you realize that 2/3 of those deaths are from suicides. You go, oh, well, I don't think you should kill yourself, and I think we have a mental health issue in this country, but I don't think you are allowed to take away my rights because someone wants to shoot themselves in the head.
Right.
Oh, there's the deeper issue. The deeper issue isn't that suicidal person being allowed to actually a handgun. The deeper issue is we're not treating like we have a depressed culture. And then you look at the majority of firearm homicides. You go, these are gang members killing each other. So one, you're not gonna stop gang violence from taking away their guns. Like they're already doing illegal things. So gun control measures aren't gonna help with that. You might save 2,000 people a year. And I'm sorry, but out of 330 million people, 2,000 is not that much for gun homicides. We have a rifle in like half of American households, and like we own a lot of guns. And I don't know, for the amount of guns that we have in the United States registered, it's crazy how low our gun deaths are. And I just prefer freedom. That's a little bit more dangerous, 2 out of every 100,000, than me being beholden to the government. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. President, do whatever you want with me. I don't know, man.
No, I totally understand. So many people hear the statistic of 13,000 and think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But when you think it out of it with the suicide aspect in there and just out of how many people are in this country, that's a pretty small number.
And it's not going to happen to you, okay? And it's always suburban moms. And they're like, oh my gosh, 13,000, it's a war zone. It's not going to happen to you. I mean, they call it, like, people that live in Chicago call it Chirac because they have so many deaths over there. Like, the gun deaths aren't happening in the suburbs, lady. They're not happening to you. So, shut up. And then places like Chicago, if you can't even own a gun there unless it's illegal. Like, I can't apply to get my concealed carry permit, so keep me out of the hands of people who are trying to be safe and defend their 3-year-old daughter in a poor neighborhood because they don't have the means to escape that right now. And you want to take away their guns? I get heated. That's alright though. What kind of gun you want to own?
Well, goodness, that is a good question.
Like, you want like a long rifle or like a hand? Like you don't want to carry a gun around, right?
Yeah. I don't. Like I said earlier, I don't see the need for that at this point. I can't talk guns with you. I don't.
You don't know about guns that well? That's alright.
Couldn't spit out names.
That's fine. You know what's interesting? You know MLK?
Yeah.
Of course you do, because MLK is a G. But I was talking with someone, and like we were sort of talking about change, and I kind of feel like, well, since the government has guns, okay, we have a military, we have a police force, and they can be corruptible. You see that with Hitler. You go, whoa, dude, it's crazy what if you have a poor populace who wants change. It's crazy what you can do. So then I don't want to be disarmed. If I have a gun and you have a gun, either you have to kill me or you have to reason with me. But if you have a gun and I don't have a gun, then you have a monopoly on my life. I don't have any sort of way to defend myself. And so I view that if we all have guns, we can sort of reason with the... I know this is wild. This is all like in theory and hypothetical.
Right.
Then if we have like a monopoly on someone else's life. But I was sort of talking about social change and how like we can have social change under the precedent of firearms. And this person was saying, okay, what about people like Gandhi? What about people like Martin Luther King Jr. who brought social change through nonviolent action? I'm like, actually, that is a good point. Like, Gandhi did do a lot. MLK did do a lot. So I was doing a little bit of research. And then I'm like, wait. So I was doing research on Gandhi. And Gandhi's a peaceful dude, did not believe in killing people.
Right.
But then you look up this quote about firearms by Gandhi. And at first I thought it was like some Republican propaganda. But no, Gandhi actually said this. This is what Gandhi said. Among the many misdeeds of the British rule in India, history will look upon the act of depriving a whole nation of arms as the blackest. I was like, whoa, I didn't know Gandhi would say something like that. And then MLK, when his house was firebombed by KKK members, he actually submitted for his concealed carry permit.
Really?
So he submitted to have to carry a gun around him or a gun around with him, but because of the gun laws, and they were. The thing is gun control in this nation started out as a racist thing. As soon as the slaves became free, white people were like, "Oh snap, we need to keep guns in the hands of these people." So the laws might not have been written racist, but if you have a racist judge, a racist cop, and racist jury, then they're not going to allow you to get a concealed carry permit. So King was denied a concealed carry permit when he applied for one, and his advisor actually said that his house was like an arsenal, because even people who believe in peaceful protest have loved ones to protect.
That is true.
So if like I might not draw a firearm to save my life, but as soon as any of my friends' lives, my family life is in danger, you bet I would shoot someone. Because there's just evil in this world, and evil isn't stopped by taking a gun away from them. I don't know. I like the examples that pop in my mind are like France, nice France, or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
All I gotta do is get a box truck, whip that boy, no crowd of people. I don't know, man. Whatever. And sorry, I'm ranting here. Ranting here.
You're good. You're passionate.
But the thing, like, I'm for campus carry if you have a concealed carry permit. But people, it's a big issue right now. Like, it just started. All these different laws about campus carry, and people are like, how can you promote a good education, and then carry around weapons on campus? And people are freaking out about it. But if you think, like, remember when Virginia Tech happened?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, that dude went into the campus building, put a chain around the doors, took his rifle, and just systematically started executing people. So I don't know why people are more afraid to have a good guy with a gun. They'd rather not let that good guy have a gun. Like, you go through background, they don't give their concealed carry permit out to anyone. And if you're a gun store owner, or if you're giving out permits, you can literally say, I'm not giving that person a gun just because he gives me a funny look. It's the only industry ever that you can discriminate against people, and because gun store owners know when someone's crazy. Maybe not always, but they pretty much do.
I'm sure they see plenty of crazy people,
Yes.
so they're pretty good judges. I'm sure.
Yeah, they're like, nope, I can say, I don't want to give you a firearm. Why? Because I don't think you should own a firearm, and they can't take that to court with you. The government will always be like, nope, you're crazy. But I don't know, man. There's something about, like, so evil about someone locking a door and systematically picking who he wants to kill. Like, it blows my mind that people want to take guns out of the hands of people like me or people like my friends who are law-abiding citizens and try to stop people from dying from evil. I don't know, man. It's just so sickening to me that someone would do that. And then that people want to take guns away from people who are law-abiding citizens.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that so many huge massacres could have been stopped by one person with a concealed carry permit.
There's actually been multiple studies on how many crimes are stopped each year from firearms, and this gun control advocate, I can't remember what his name was doing, the estimates range from 500,000 to 3 million. Okay.
Every year?
Yeah, to 3 million.
Wow.
The low 500,000 number comes from a gun control advocate who was doing a study and found that number. And then in 2008, that number was verified by the Supreme Court in the, was it DC versus Heller? But it was really recent, and the Supreme Court said, yep, this is accurate data, and this was a verifiable study. So the 3 million's a little high, but there's still some question about that. But people just forget DC versus Heller, a landmark case. Oh wait, no, it wasn't. What is DC versus Heller? Oh no, it was. But yeah, it was decided in 2008. It was that. This is crazy. That's even went to the Supreme Court, and it was voted 5-4. This is why. Sorry, you don't do politics, but this is why picking good justices is freaking important. Because in DC versus Heller, it was 5-4 on whether citizens had the right to protect themselves from firearms. 5-4. Think about that for a second. What is he? What is that? Is that the raccoon? What,
I think so.
My mom's in here. Oh wait, what is this? Oh, that was Elvis? That's tight. Sorry, my mom's showing us pictures.
Baby Jackson is very cute.
Look how fat I was. Dude, if you guys don't know, I've lost a lot of weight. I never skipped a meal in my childhood. Never. Oh my god.
I like the gym shorts down to the ankles.
My gym short. My waist was so big. My gym shorts reached my ankles.
Oh my goodness.
And Oh my gosh. What is it? Oh my gosh. I'm about to show some people these pictures. That's awesome. Wow, that was big. Don't let your kids get fat. It's cruel.
It does make for some good comedy later on.
Later on, like, yeah, it's an investment. You
Nice
make your kids
touch,
suffer through
Mama
middle
Stark.
school. Yeah. But, okay, DC versus Heller. I'm schooling you right here. DC versus Heller. It was deciding whether citizens of the United States, okay, we almost went full Europe on this one. It was a decision that the Second Amendment protects an individual's rights to possess a firearm, unconnected with service in a militia for traditionally lawful purposes, so saying like self-defense.
Yeah.
It was 5-4 on whether citizens could have firearms, and that was in 2008. And this is why picking good justices is so important, because we decided that we need 9 people to decide whether things are lawful or not. It's crazy to me. You don't follow politics, so do you know? Are you familiar with the name Gorsuch?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Of course.
The new justice
Yes.
Trump appointed? I, again, hate Trump, but he defends our Second Amendment rights, and he, what do you call it? Appointed Gorsuch? Gorsuch is a G, okay? Gorsuch is this, I was watching, like, videos of him, like, giving out whether he would rule, like, I don't know, he interprets the Constitution strictly. And I appreciate that so much. So Trump sucks, but he appreciates, or he believes in our Second Amendment rights, and he appointed Gorsuch, which I'm so thankful for. Thank you, Trump, but you still suck. But he's not so big on the First Amendment rights. That you know. But hey, look, you can try to take away my First Amendment rights, but my Second Amendment rights guarantees that I have First Amendment rights. Alright, Turleez. Well, since I'm ranting and you're not really talking, I feel kind of bad about this. Let's move to a different subject. In any time in the future, would you like to ride a motorcycle or get a motorcycle?
It's funny you'd ask that, actually. I have been, not sure about it, but I have definitely been thinking about the idea of getting a motorcycle pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Being the broke college student that I am, I do not own a car, but I need a mode of transportation.
Yeah.
So I feel like a motorcycle is a good combination of
Gas.
Yeah, gas. It's cheap to buy. It's not a whole lot of maintenance, upkeep on it. Seems like a good option.
Before we get into this, do you want to grab a ginger beer and I fill my water?
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll be right back. I'll cut this out. What?
If
Oh,
I
yeah.
said something, you can cut it out.
That face though. When you tell your friend not to put his drink on the table, but he... See this picking it up?
It's just crackling.
It's not picking it up.
Okay.
Alright, anyway.
And we're back.
And we're back. So, what kind of motorcycle would you like to own?
Oh, that is a great question, Jackson. Could you educate me?
Okay, alright.
I have not looked too seriously into it.
Strap in. That means get closer because you're kind of quiet.
Is that better? Or do I
That's too
sound a little
close.
bit better right here?
Close. Like this, you know what I'm sitting? Alright, so we need to lay some ground ideas.
Give them to me.
First of all, cruiser, a standard or a sports bike, or an enduro.
Is the enduro is that the all solid black one you showed me a couple weeks back? You said it's like one of the fastest bikes for pretty cheap.
An enduro is a mix between a dirt bike and a classic motorcycle.
That is not something that I would be interested.
Okay, cut that out. All right. Next, cruiser. I own a cruiser.
Right.
Would that be something of
Right.
interest?
I would definitely want to go for a cruiser. The only thing that appeals to me about a sports bike is I think that they look nicer. I like the look of a sports bike, but I think somewhere around a cruiser would be more usable for me.
Well, here's what you don't think about, right? Okay, well, first of all, my insurance, $20 a month.
Exactly. Exactly. My friend had a motorcycle and he was talking it up to me. He said his dad owns a dealership.
Mm-hmm.
He pays 20 or less a month. And that's crazy to me.
Now, when you get a sports bike, it is a little bit more expensive. So that's something you have to think about.
Well, he had a sports bike, so that's
Oh,
probably
what?
why $20 was so cheap.
Oh, that's actually crazy. That's wild. But sports bike, way better gas mileage.
Right.
That's something people don't think about.
Because they're so much lighter.
They are so much lighter, they're more aerodynamic, and they're just more efficient engines. I'm trying to quote you a Gixxer price right now. So there's a kind of a joke in the motorcycle community about Gixxers. Well, GSXR, but people call them Gixxers because they are an engine, or a seat on an engine that goes 160 miles an hour. And anytime you see someone on a Gixxer, they have a sleeveless cut off sleeves, and they're not wearing a helmet, and they have sunglasses, and they always have an undercut.
Now, who makes that?
Suzuki.
Suzuki. Okay. My friend that I mentioned earlier has a Yamaha.
Okay. A Yamaha.
I couldn't tell you. I see him around quite a bit.
Is it a sports bike?
Yeah. I see him in green. I think I've seen him in red before.
I don't know sports bike as well as I know cruisers, but what I do know is that is it CBR or Yamaha? Let me look it up. CBR 600. No, it's Honda. I knew it was Honda.
Okay.
So not Yamaha. Okay, Gixxers. Yeah, dude, they're freaking hilariously cheap. Let's go. And the thing about motorcycles is you can buy a 10-year-old motorcycle. One's perfect. This, when we bought it, it was 9 years old. Never had a problem with it.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
That bike is 9 years old.
That bike is older than that. That's a 2004, 2003.
That bike looks
Sorry.
not quite brand new,
Mhm.
but not far from it.
Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, dude. Motorcycles are great, and they last
Wow.
forever. All right. These prices. Oh, I love motorcycles. Gixxers. So anyway. So sports bike out of the question or no? What? What?
I apologize. The ginger beer went up my nose. Not totally out of the question. The price also appeals to me quite a bit.
Mhm.
Cheaper than cruisers typically.
No.
No, really.
Here's the thing.
Again, mentioning my friend got his brand new like 6,500.
What'd he get? Okay, so you said Yamaha?
Mm-hmm.
Let's look up. Yamaha. Did he get a Ninja? Is Ninja a company?
Yes,
A
it
Ninja? Okay, 600, 250, 300.
Could not tell you.
You
Couldn't tell you. I know he's taken it close to 200 before, if that says anything.
Ninjas are fairly common, so I would quote him. I would say he has a 600. Well, did Ninjas make 600s?
I don't know, dude. I know that thing was quick.
Ninja. Sorry, I don't know a lot about sports bikes. Oh, they make 650s, not 600s. Let's see, Ninja 650 ABS. You always want ABS, but mine doesn't have them. Yeah, never mind. That is insanely cheap. Ninja 650 ABS brakes, $7,399 retail. That's beautiful. I love America.
That's brand new?
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's 2017. So in America, because we don't suck like Europe. Well, you can do this in Europe, I guess, but you can just buy more. Like you can just take that to 190 and kill yourself. That's beautiful. I love that. Anyway, so a cruiser. I'm looking at a Warrior, either a gunner. I love Victory Gunners 1700, a Warrior 1700, or a Roadstar Stratoliner, or a Roadstar Silverado. But I don't know what I want. But that's basically $4,000 for a 1700, and it could last me another 15 years. This thing could last me, but it's not fast enough for my tastes. I like to go fast. But yeah, that thing, they just last so long, like compared to cars. They're just super easy to work on. They don't have any electronics in them to fail. They have like basic electronics, but they just like cars are now computers, and so they fail all the time. You just gotta get your oil changed. You keep up on your tires. And the thing why I think they last so long is, one, you ride them, you don't you take more care of it. So you fill up your tires, you clean it, you check your oil, you check your brake fluid. The hidden cost in motorcycles that people don't think about is your helmet, riding pants, jacket.
Do those really add up to be that much?
$400-$500.
Really?
Well, it depends.
I know a good helmet's going to cost you what, 200?
200, 100, depends if you want a half full, but if you want a full helmet, it'd probably be 200, 150 to 300, 150 to 350. But it just depends on how much you like your life, how much. Well, really, when you think about it, you're going 60 through an intersection and you get T-boned.
Oh, you're dead. You're dead almost on impact, right?
Dead.
If you have a half helmet or a full helmet, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Exactly. But although most impacts are on the face, and so I ride half helmet, and I understand. Like, people tell me, I understand riding a motorcycle is dangerous. I'm just not a poon. I know, I don't know. I just rather have fun. And then instead of living my life hope I make it to 80. No, screw that.
So what did you mean when you said that most of the injuries are on the face? So you're talking about concussions or
scratches?
Really?
What? Yeah. Oh,
that
dude,
seems.
It's extremely common for people's chins to get grinded down.
That doesn't make sense to me because my natural instinct is to tuck and roll.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine hitting my face, but I think my shoulders would take a lot of impact.
So, a big misconception about motorcycles is that their brakes are better than cars.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's 100% false.
Just thinking at it from a physics perspective, that doesn't make sense.
Yes, exactly. But people who even ride motorcycles
really think
that, oh yeah, it's horrible. So, the thing is with a car, you can just slam and forget. You can just all coming grinding to a halt, and your car's gonna fix ABS brakes. That thing, the brakes
going sideways.
Yeah, you're going side. It's crazy how many times I've probably had my back end escape me 5 times because people pull out in front of you, and your instinct is to slam on the brakes. So you pull your front brake and you slam on your back brake, and you're sideways, your wheels sliding out from under you, and then you have to rev it, give it some gas, and then to correct. So people will tail behind cars, and then they won't brake fast enough, so they'll rear end them, and then they get so cut up on their face and everything. And then if you go over your handlebars, your chin's getting grinded down.
Well, isn't that why sliding, sliding your motorcycle is a thing? If you need to stop that quickly.
Yeah, they say lay it down.
Yeah, just lay it down.
But the thing, there's debate on whether it's better to try to slam on your brakes or just lay it down. But I don't know, man. So now I used to, after taking the motorcycle course, they brainwash you and they say ACT-GAT, all the gear, all the time. And so for the first,
did you say that one more time?
ACT-GAT.
Okay.
All the gear, all the time. And so for the first 6 months, you're I'm a safe driver. Okay, so do you know what a squid is? You ever heard of a squid?
I have not.
So they call, in the motorcycle community, they call people on Gixxers without shirts squids. Because that means you have no protection.
Right.
You don't have a shell. So they call you a squid. In the beginning, I was I solemnly swear to never be a squid. I will always wear all my protection. I will always wear my jacket, my Kevlar jeans, and all my boots. After that,
so you were a poon.
I was a poon. And after 6 months, now I ride with just my shirt on and sneakers. And
right. You were mentioning to me the other day that you wanted to go shirtless eventually.
No. Okay. Well, I accidentally said shirtless. I meant sleeveless. But Remember, I was talking about.
I do remember that now.
So, no, I would never go shirtless just because I don't want to have my skin grinded down. Like, let's say
Well, you would have no skin left.
Well, yeah. So let's say even if I had who's a hot guy?
Have you ever heard of Tim Stark?
Okay. Anyway, let's say Channing Tatum. Isn't he a hot man? Zac Efron. Let's say I had Zac Efron body.
Efron,
You would hit
he could get
anyway. So even if I had Zac Efron body and I wasn't chub like I am now, still wouldn't ride shirtless. I think it's crazy. Because I saw a video of a guy on a motorcycle meet. That's the thing about motorcycles is the community is like none other.
So I have a question, and I'm not sure if this is some kind of a misconception that I've heard, but is there actually beef
Between Power Rangers and motorcycle? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're on a Harley, most likely. But
Well, okay, if you're on a Harley, you're over 200 pounds, have a beard as long as your left knee.
Yeah. So every time I pass a sports bike, they have always waved back at me. Okay. Now, sometimes the people who don't wave back the most are people on trikes or people on Harleys and they are shirtless or like sleeveless. So those people don't wave back at me. The people who wave back at me the most are when they're riding a man and a woman on like Tim's bike.
Right.
They always wave. And today, when I was coming around a corner, they pat their head. Do you know what that means?
No.
In the motorcycle? So if someone pats their head as they pass you, that either means either a police is coming up, or like a cop station with their radar, or there's debris in the corner coming up. So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
so they'll pass you and they'll go like this. They'll either go and then pat their head, or 3 and then pat their head, and so you go 1, 2, or 3 miles out. So they went 2, pat their head, and it was like this old couple. I'm like, sweet.
Wow.
So either there's debris coming up in the next corner, but since I
Sweet.
did it at 2, I know that a police is coming. So I come up over the hill, and then there's a state trooper with a radar. I'm like, shout out, motorcycle
nice.
community.
That's like, I wish that drivers in general would be more like that.
And
Because-
flash their headlights.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime I see a cop, flash my headlights at the next couple of people I pass.
100%.
But I don't rarely ever see people doing that.
I know they don't do it anymore, and none of the cars did it for me. None of the cars I passed did it for me. But
Wow.
motorcycle community, shout out. But some Harley riders are like, yeah, bro, I don't wave to Power Rangers. Get a real bike, bro. Or like, if there's debris in the road ahead of me, or there's a cop, I never pat my head. They call them Power Rangers. It's pretty funny. I don't know. There's not like that much beef. Only if you're a loser.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like I understand not wanting to ride
Mm-hmm.
a sports bike. Totally makes sense. But to hate everyone who rides it doesn't make sense. That would be like hating someone in a Lambo because you can't get a Lambo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like it's faster.
It'd be like hating
Why-
someone who has a sports car and you like to drive classics.
Yeah.
And you're like, I hate everyone in a sports car. It's like, no,
Yeah.
they just like being fast and you like being classic.
You both have nice vehicles.
Like I like this motorcycle because I think it looks great, but it's not fast, and I'm 100% fine with that. Now, Roadstar Warrior, fast and looks great, so that's the best of both worlds. But you're never, dude, you're never gonna beat a sports bike. Sports bikes are like rocket ships.
They are.
It's crazy. They're way faster than a car. Way faster than a Corvette that costs like $140,000. My $7,000 Gixxer is gonna school you any day. I don't know though. So standard? Would you ever look into standards? Like cafe racer, or do you either want a cruiser or
Yeah, I definitely want to go down the cruiser route over that.
Yeah.
Or even sports bike over that.
Dude, I think the best way is to get like something like that, 10 years old, and just make sure it doesn't have that many miles on it, and then they'll run you like $2 to $4 grand.
So I don't know if you're gonna have to cut this out, but is Tim still looking to sell that?
That?
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, Tim is 100% still looking
Well,
to
I
sell
will have
that.
to talk to him.
You will have to talk to him because when okay. So the thing about my dad, I think you will resonate with this but way more than me. Tim never compliments me. He's never complimented me. The compliment that rings in my head that I think about all the time, I'm like, wow, he actually congratulated me. I passed my permit test online, and he gave me a high five. He's like, good job. And I felt uncomfortable. like, that's stop, you
Right.
loser.
Yeah.
But so that's that. When I was younger, that messed up my idea of affection. Like, do I show people that I like them by insulting them?
Yeah, dude.
And I learned that some people don't like that.
totally understand.
But I'm used to that.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are. But when you meet the ones who aren't, like, why are you
Yeah.
insulting me? I'm like, because I like you. What the heck?
One time it was something small. I don't really remember. I think I like graduated high school, and my dad shook my hand.
You're like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, this is weird.
I was gonna go down. Anyway. So the only time my dad ever compliments me is when I'm not around. So I walked in on him, and he was talking to my brother, and he was saying the nicest things about me. And I'm like, why? Like, I was just sitting in my room. She's like, why isn't he telling me this? But it doesn't get to me that much because I know my dad loves me. He just doesn't have to tell me.
Right.
He just hangs out with me and we're good. But whenever we're at parties, he'll start like talking me up, and I'm like, Dad, you can't just go to a party, drink 3 beers, and then just start talking about how cool I am, and then
Yeah.
never tell me that ever again.
Yeah.
But what he also does is at parties, he says it's my job to sell this thing. He's like, if you want to get a bigger bike, you're gonna have to sell that motorcycle. So
I would definitely love to talk to him about that.
let me tell you. Well, you saw how fast that thing can go today. That thing, you can pin it down, and you'll be weaving in and out of traffic in no time.
In all honesty, especially for my first bike, it would be smart for me to not get a fast bike.
Yeah.
Because I take my 2002 Toyota Avalon to 120.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd push it.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
This bike took me about 4 months to get in tune with. Like, I thought this thing was slow until, like I said, I took it to high speeds, and I was like, oh, this thing is not that slow. But it's not fast either. It's a good beginner bike, and you'll learn how to corner on that, and I'm pretty sure Tim would pay for your motorcycle safety course. He offered you guys, but at the
Really?
time, you don't remember?
I don't.
He offered as a graduation gift. He was like,
No.
I will pay for your guys' thing. You don't remember that?
I do not.
Well, it's probably because you couldn't own one at the time. Like, it wasn't plausible. But now that it
True.
is, you should talk to him because I'm sure he would love to sell you that bike. I would love to get a bigger bike. And I think I'm going to start working this summer, and I'm going to invest in pipes for a new bike, like putting money into that, and then put some other money into the stocks. No, I'm playing. You know, I always kind of want to invest in stocks. But anyway, sorry. I'm going to put some money into like some pipes and making it look sick. And then I've always wanted to build an AR-15.
Build one.
Yeah.
So,
AR-15s are like the most buildable gun.
yeah, so how would you do that? Do you buy a kit? Do
You
buy the
kind of.
pieces
You pretty
separate?
much buy it's
Okay.
build in quotation marks. Like you sort of customize like what barrel you want, what heat reductor you want,
Okay.
scope, grip.
So I saw this really cool video a couple of days ago where they put a full stock
On
extended clip, you know?
the gun melt video.
Yeah.
The one I just showed you.
What?
Okay, so they put it. But what do you mean though? Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about that?
Well, no.
Okay. All right.
I'm not 100% sure I know what an AR-15 is.
You don't know what an AR-15 is.
Could not tell you confidently what that is.
Turleez, we have some shooting to do.
I believe we do.
All right. Well, let me show you what an AR-15 is. Not what you're thinking of. It was cute. That was cute.
Thank you. I pride myself in being cute sometimes. Well, that is not exactly what I was expecting. I was. Wow.
Okay, let me teach you a lesson about gun controls. And if you're following along with me, listening to this podcast, which no one does, so that's fine. I'm just talking to an empty room right now. Okay, you ready, Turleez?
I am always ready for this.
AR-15, semi-automatic. Okay, you pull the trigger once, one bullet comes out. Pull the trigger, yeah,
Right. Every trigger is one shot. You don't have to reload after each one.
Most people who are gun control advocates have never touched and or shot a gun. They would look at this. They would call this a fully automatic weapon. Yeah,
I could have told you that.
Yeah, okay.
I couldn't have told you what it was called, but I know. Obviously, I'm a kid. I'm a guy. I've played video games. I know.
The media one purposefully uses confusing terms like fully semi-automatic that doesn't exist, and then they say assault weapon. Okay, I'm gonna show you the gun we own. It's called a Mini 14. Loved it. I told my dad I want to inherit it from him. Okay. This is a Mini 14. People would say that's what you can own that. They say I just believe in common sense gun control. That's in Mini 14. It also shoots a 223. It's also semi-automatic, but you would show that and be like, which one's scarier? You know, which one's an assault weapon? So no one would call it an assault weapon.
That looks like a hunting
but it
rifle.
shoots. Yeah, it shoots the exact same round at the exact same firing rate and the same. Yeah, 223. And anyway, that's just a small little gun gripe I have. But what are we talking about? Motorcycles or?
Wow.
Oh, I said I want to build an AR-15.
Right.
But I'm probably gonna have to wait till I get my own place for that.
So have I ever mentioned my coworker Joe to you?
Yeah.
He has been over the last. I found out about it last summer, so at least a year.
Mm-hmm.
He has been working with his dad to build an airplane.
What? Are you
Him
serious?
and his dad are building an airplane.
How much bonding?
Very much.
Let me tell you, you can probably never come closer than your father when you take a summer to build an airplane and then you're finally in the air with him.
I cannot imagine
What
that.
must that feel like?
He's your best friend.
Yeah. I feel like whenever I'm playing ping pong with my dad, I feel like we're so close. I can't imagine building an airplane.
I know that feeling because I play ping pong with your dad quite often as well, and I feel that connection.
My dad treats my friends like they're his sons.
And I treat him like he is my father.
That is 100% true. Okay, so my dad is a generous man because he grew up poor. He grew up piss poor. So he's always taken to being generous and like he's kind to me, but people think he's mean. But he's insulting you because he likes you.
Right.
Like
if he calls you buckwheat,
he loves
are
you.
his child.
You are his son. But like I remember one of the first house parties we had, and I was probably 8 or 9. For some reason, all my stories I'm 8 or 9. That's how I know I'm BSing my age because I have no idea how old I was. But I would guess 8 or 9. And there's this bald guy. I can't remember what his name was, but he came over to our house, and my dad was like chatting with him. Eventually, he's like, "Let me show you all my guns, bro." And so they're like going through his guns. He's like, "Oh, this is some body armor that my son had in the military. You want to put it on?" And so he put on the body armor. He's like, "All right, now let's see how cool this is." And he goes and grabs a bat, and he slams this dude in body armor with a bat. That was Tim's best friend that night. The man he was hitting with the bat. Like just the way that he shows love is so weird. So he treats like whenever he's being mean, people are like, "Wow, he's so mean. I just don't get him." No, it means he really likes you. So stop complaining. And if Tim isn't mean to you,
yeah, if he doesn't talk to you, doesn't acknowledge you too much,
you should be worried.
Get out of there.
But how many shirts has my dad given you?
So I'm gonna have to think back a little bit. I have 2 of the traditional T-shirt cotton Gilline, 3 dry fits, the denim button-up, and a jacket. So I think that totals 7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
7
like
shirts.
he just likes giving you guys things. Tim's generous, man.
Yeah.
You and Luke, he just like treats you like sons. You guys treat him like a father. The thing is Tunde doesn't get insulting enough with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys mess with him and roast him, but Tunde doesn't do that, so he doesn't feel the same love for him.
Yeah, I think Tunde tries to be. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but he tries to be too like respectful,
Cordial.
almost. Yeah.
Yes.
He's polite.
That's why my mom likes him.
Yes.
And Tim doesn't.
Right.
My mom loves my mom thinks likes talking to Tunde and thinks he's cool, but Tim's like, you could be a little bit meaner. I don't know.
Spice.
I have a question for you, Tyler.
And I might have an answer.
All right. So say speculatively, you hit 65. Are you juicing or are you not juicing?
What vehicle am I in?
What?
When I hit 65 years of age.
Yes. Are you juicing?
I'm gonna have to go with a confident yes.
Okay, why'd you ask what vehicle am I in?
Well, we transitioned to that from motorcycles, so I figured you meant 65 miles an hour.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Our worlds are 2 different worlds. Like,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if you like guns, you like motorcycles.
My mom is the voice that you were making earlier
Uh-huh.
was my mom.
Oh, sorry. I love you, Mama Turleez, by the way. Your mom's cool,
yeah,
but...
she's an irrational lady. I'll admit it. I love her, but yeah, she has some strange formed opinions.
Yeah. Well, I feel like if she were to hold a gun, shoot it once, she'd be like, oh.
No,
No?
she wouldn't. She would shoot it once and then
Be even more scared.
somehow be that video of the handgun shooting out of the person's hand with the recoil because they didn't know how to hold it.
I love that video.
And then she'd never touch a gun again. I was not allowed to play a single game, video game, with a gun in it or any kind of violence until I was in 8th grade, I believe, maybe 9th grade.
Wow.
Right.
I love you, Mama Turleez, but you know,
You're crazy.
crazy. Nah, I'm not gonna say about your mom, but say you hit 65.
Certainly, I shall be juicing.
Exactly. Like,
I don't see what's wrong with it. Once you hit that age,
thank you.
what can go wrong?
I tell Tim, start injecting steroids.
Why not?
You'll lose weight.
Can you imagine Tim
Juicing.
so thin, in like just so much definition?
That'd be hilarious.
Like his sleeves are stretched out.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
He has a motorcycle jacket, like a leather vest now, and he's so funny looking with it. He has it's kind of cool. It's funny because he like walks out with a puffed up chest when he has it, and he like waddles. You know how motorcycle guys
Yeah.
So he does that, and like he has like his division when he was in the military and like intelligence and a bunch of other things. And then he has a sweet Second Amendment patch on the back that I want, like super big, like shall not be infringed. The right for citizens to keep and bear arms. And like that's pretty sick.
I like that.
Has a picture of the Constitution and like 2 guns in front of you. I don't know. Oh, dude, why didn't I see those earlier? Those are like clay pigeons. We could have been shooting those.
Dang.
I'm pissed. Anyway, sorry. Oh, we were shooting BB guns. They were like, I was trying to get Tim to let Tyler shoot a 22, but they're too loud. But we were shooting BB guns, and I was looking for clay pigeons to shoot just because they're fun to watch break, and I just spotted them. Dang it, man. Whatever.
Maybe next time.
But yeah, next time. We're gonna be hanging out this summer, so it'll be chill. Yeah. I think I get a lot, like, I used to resent Tim when I was young.
Really?
Because of his political views.
He can be a little radical sometimes.
Tim's a little radical when it comes to, speaking of political views, you should take this compass test while I rant.
Compass test? What's
Political
that?
compass.
So, what does it determine?
Where you stand politically.
Okay.
It determines your economic policy politically and then your social policy.
Okay.
All right, Tyler, start taking this while I rant.
All right.
Oh, Luke texted me. Let's see what he said. We were going to do a 3-person podcast, but... whatever. He still isn't home.
Wow. That was a Long Beach day.
All right, so I ask you a question, and you say agree, disagree, strongly agree, or strongly disagree, okay?
Did you take this in school?
No.
Okay.
Me and my
believe I
friends
took
take it.
this. It looks familiar. I don't know if the question is the same, but I took this in government my senior year of high school.
Oh, so do you remember your...
Possibly. I'll have to read through a couple of questions first.
I'm going to pause it. I'm going to mute this. All right, sorry, we were gone so long. We were talking about political views, and I wanted Tyler to take this test. So you are to the right, slightly...
Whoa. Before we get into that too much, I would like to say that I passed.
So Tyler took the political compass test. You are to the right, slightly an authoritarian. You want to see where I am, buddy?
I would.
Here's where I am. First of all...
Are you on the graph?
I am to the right, and I'm libertarian all the way down there.
Okay.
Because I believe you should be able to do what you want. Ron Swanson said it the best. Ron Swanson's so funny on Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Ron Swanson said, if you want to, in America, you can just get big gulps every day, drink them every day, go bulb up to 600 pounds, and die of a heart attack. And that's the beauty of America, is we don't stop you from doing that. So I think you should be able to do whatever you want in America, and you accept the consequences because you're a freaking adult, and we treat you like adults in America. But
that is a good point.
Tim has we were talking about Tim's political views. I used to be like, man, my dad's so not cool.
Are you guys very similar?
Oh, yeah, we're more similar now, except he thinks I'm a hippie because I think weed should be legalized. I think. What else do I?
That is true. That is true. I would have answered yes to that question. I never plan on using it, but I
Yeah.
feel like it does have benefits.
It does have benefits, and I'm willing to treat adults like adults here.
Right. Right.
Okay. I think pretty much anything natural should be legalized. Tim doesn't think weed should be legalized, and so as a kid, I used to be like, man, guns aren't cool. I'm a pacifist. Isn't that weird? Isn't that so weird? Guns aren't cool. I'm a pacifist.
Is this when you were like 8 or 9?
Weed rots your brain. No, it's probably like when I was from 6th grade to 9th grade.
Okay.
And then I realized, no, America is great. Being an adult is cool. I like freedom is great. Better than being European. And I value freedom over money, over education. I'm talking about like as a whole, as a nation. We should value our freedom over our being smart.
Yeah.
Because like Japan has great education, but everyone there kills themselves. Same in South Korea. It's put nets around their schools during testing seasons because people kill themselves because you take one test that determines the rest of your life. Just crazy, man.
Yeah, I don't get that.
That's why America is great. Sorry, unapologetically love this nation. Although I'm willing to admit it has its issues. We really do have some serious issues in America. We have some issues like in the inner cities. And we have issues, especially with our prison system. That's something we need to get straight. We have issues, with how we prosecute people. Like, our weed laws are dumb. But I don't know. You know what? You know what country I can salute? Switzerland.
Switzerland does a lot of things right.
Switzerland has you have to keep a rifle. Everyone is considered. So you have mandatory military service from 18 to 21.
Okay.
After that, you have to keep a rifle and be part. You have to qualify with that rifle, and then you have to be ready to be part of the militia. So
really,
I think that's too far. Like, I don't think you should have to be, because so here's the thing: is
18 to 21. That's that's prime.
I think personally, it's a cool idea, but I don't think you should have to serve in the military. You know, because it's America. You can do what you want. You don't legally have to do that unless we're in wartime. But even if they're not in wartime, you have to serve in the military and you have to keep a rifle. You shouldn't have to keep a gun if you don't want to keep a gun. And so I think they do that wrong in that aspect, but people know not to mess with Switzerland and they keep neutral in wars.
Yeah,
and they say, hey, sorry, but you're not going to invade our nation. We have a rifle in every home and we're all marksmen with it and we know how to use these. But yeah, it's just my opinion.
You know, I really like hearing that fact because I have always wondered how Switzerland stays neutral in every war because they've never taken a side that I've heard of.
And they're also home of many banks. So
yeah.
It's just you can't you don't want to destroy the European economy just because you have an idea. But so I can salute to you, the Swiss. You guys do it right and you know how to use your rifles. But I don't know. I just think people value the most disgusting thing I can ever hear is when we're talking about the NSA and people are like, well, with mass surveillance, if you don't do anything wrong, you should be fine with the government reading your emails and listening to your phone calls. I'm like, you idiot. Go live in Soviet Russia. I don't want you here in our nation if you think like that. Get out of America. The definition of the American dream to me is what people who own guns deem rooftop Koreans.
Yeah.
I told you about that, right?
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
They are the definition of the American dream. So in Korea, they also have mandatory military service. You have to come. They came to America. They 25 years later, the dude they had this interview with still had a thick Korean accent. So they immigrated to this nation. They were entrepreneurial spirit. That's what America's about. Entrepreneurial spirit. Opened up their business and started employing people. And then when riots broke out, they defended their place with a gun. I'm like, salute to you guys. During the LA riots, shout out to the Koreans protecting their business. Anyone defending life, liberty, and property with a firearm, especially when it's a business that they started from the ground up, I can salute to that. You are the most American person. More American than anyone who doesn't own a gun and doesn't defend themselves ever will be. And yeah, man, that's just how I feel. Ready to end this thing?
Yeah, I'm good when you are.
Alright, well, we're going to end this thing. I pretty much ran it this whole time. But Tyler stuck with me. You're a good friend of mine.
It was fun. It was good hearing some of your opinions on this stuff.
We're probably going to be doing this again with Luke. Me, you, and Luke, and maybe even Tunde.
That'd be interesting.
And, yeah.
Well, maybe not Tunde.
Maybe not Tunde. Yeah, you stuck Tunde. Alright, bye.